the birthplace of the Bohemian Revolution. From Cowork 591 Studios, we are the Bohemian Reformation, and this is the Steve Brown Arts Center Podcast Network with producer Blake Tempus and co-host Dale Rueber. I am Jim Gillespie, and this is the Jesup News for October 7th, 2024. Tonight we're sponsored by Mickey D's Pizza and Lobster. The Furials is a kind sponsor of this podcast. Mike will be in with us on our 100th show to talk a little bit about Mickey D's and how that all started and everything. We have a number of special guests for our 100th show. Tonight we're going to talk about the community art event at Jesup Farmers Market. We talk about the House, and we're going to talk about the House and the Senate elections a little bit, and the vice presidential debate that took place. We look at the Jesup News as Dale crams for it right now. We talk about the top 5 names associated with weather. So start thinking, Dale.
Okay. Stormy.
There you go.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm talking names, though. Names.
Names of people?
Yeah.
Okay, I got one you cannot beat.
All right, we'll see.
Just write it right now. Okay.
Okay.
We should say something about Pete Rose, too. Do you have any on your list?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
I don't. But we will talk about it. We'll look at the upcoming shows. We look at the U.S. foreign affairs a little bit. We talk about weekly updates of the Steve Brown Arts Center. And we talk about the Dunkerton Corner and the chance for its roundabout, or lack of chance for its roundabout. We have 3 or 4 other unique things that we want to bring up. Don't forget, the Steve Brown Arts Center is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that has a vision for artists, young and old alike, to have the opportunity to better themselves while helping to build the skills of those around them. It will be offering community programming starting in Jesup before expanding to neighboring communities. The long-range vision, as always, is to house a rural artist residency program for professional and emerging artists in all areas of the arts and the humanities. Artists will be offered accommodations and studio space in exchange for a contribution of labor and maintenance of the buildings and grounds. So Dale, we have a lot to talk about, but you brought up Pete Rose, so let's talk about old Pete to begin with. Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, I was always a Pete Rose fan because Charlie Hustle. He got a walk. He ran down to first base. He was always working hard, and I remember I saw him play his rookie year on television, and followed him kind of all through his career. And I never was a big Cincinnati Reds fan. It was interesting to follow Pete Rose's career, and then even when he played with Philadelphia for a while there, before he went back to the Reds. And I've had arguments with my own son about this, about whether Pete should be in the Hall of Fame. And that's, I think, the big question. And I always thought that they were too punitive and too vindictive with him. I thought what he did on the field certainly deserves being in the Hall of Fame. And what he did off the field, though, when against all the rules, somewhere in those 25, 30 years or whatever since that happened, somebody ought to have been forgiving and said, okay, we're going to make him eligible. I always felt that. And in Cincinnati, there's a Cincinnati Reds museum close to the ball, and they have a wall, and it's 2 stories. You have to go up the stairs, but they have one baseball for every hit he made, and it just covers this whole wall, both stories up high. It's very impressive. And so I think his big mistake is that he bet on his own team, and he lied about it, and that got the powers in Major League Baseball upset, and they never forgave him. And even though it took 20 years, he finally admitted that he lied. And so I thought, they could have done that for him before he died, is let him in the Hall of Fame, or at least made him eligible for voting, and let the people who vote make the decision instead of Major League Baseball making the decision. So anyway, what a great player, and personal life, not the best. Certainly a great baseball player. And if you look at the Hall of Fame, there are racists in there and people who threw spitballs and beat their wives and this sort of thing. Big drinkers, but
I think he probably did all of those.
Yeah, and also now they have commercials for gambling when you watch Major League Baseball games. And so they've done a completely, because he used to think that gambling would be, people thought the gamblers were influencing the ball games. Right. That'd be the end of of the sport. But now everybody's betting on everything. You can bet on what the next pitch will be, or what the first pitch will be, or how many walks there'll be. I mean, almost anything. So anyway, I just feel sorry that Pete Rose died without being in the Hall of Fame.
You know, the worst thing that happened to him was the commissioner that suspended him or put him on a lifetime ban, Dale, died a month after he banned him. You know, I mean, and so, you know, they struggled to take him off that ban. Now, Pete has said, and I was listening to a recording on the Lebertard show today. Pete has said that he doesn't want to go in the Hall of Fame after he dies. So
I had not heard that, but
yeah, I mean, they have a recording of him saying that. But he struggled with gambling all his life. Pete did. Even when he was playing minor league ball, he was betting the horses. He was.
They said he was
money.
Addicted to gambling. Yeah,
he was an addicted gambler. There's no doubt about it. There's a lot of addiction of not only gambling, but you know, and
well, for him to take the risks he took gambling, it'd almost have to be an addiction, because he knew by betting on baseball, especially betting on his own team, that he was breaking, you know, big rules there, and the consequences would be stiff. And so
to make matters worse, you know, that was before the cell phones were the thing, and he was making calls out of the clubhouse.
Using the Reds phone.
So he
wasn't the smartest in the world.
No, but like you say, he may have been one of the most competitive humans to walk the earth. But he was 83 just the day before he got together with a bunch of the Big Red Machine. You know, there was a picture of him. I think he was probably wheelchair bound at the end.
He was in a wheelchair, is what I saw in the picture, and I just saw for a short time on television, but it looked to me like he was in a wheelchair. And so what a team they had.
Oh, they
did. 2 years in Cincinnati.
Can you name every fielder? Let's try to do that.
Okay. Bench was the catcher.
And Tony Perez was up first.
And Joe Morgan
was
second. And Concepcion at short. And who played third?
Let's go to right field. Right field was the father of the great...
Ken Griffey.
Ken Griffey was in right.
And then there was a guy named Geronimo.
Cesar Geronimo. Was he in center or was he in left? I think he was in
center, because he was a real fast runner. So I think he probably played center. So left and third is what we can. I'd have to think.
All right, that'll come up. Think about it a little bit.
All right.
We might have to cheat and look on the internet. Not that we use the internet at all. No. You know, you're right. It'd be interesting, the funeral, you know, that they have for him and stuff. Will be interesting. You know, how he's eulogized and the like.
But a great ball player. Baseball, he played the game just to watch him bat and just be, you know, he switched it with bat left-handed, just hit that little line drive over the shortstop's head and boop, another double. And,
so Dale, could he play today? Because he wasn't a power hitter, you know.
I don't know. But I think the power hitters like to have somebody to drive in. And so, and again, could he hit the 100-mile-an-hour fastball that everybody's throwing today? And there's no way of knowing. But the way he felt about baseball and the way he was such a competitor, I would bet he would make himself into a player that could play today. That's my guess. Because he loved the game. And he loved to compete, and so he would do what he had to do, I think.
All right. Well, this is Steve Brown Arts Center Podcast Network. So we had a community event at the pavilion at the, what's the name of the park out here, Dale?
Land of Corn.
The Land of Corn Park.
Named after what? I told you just before.
Named after the train that used to go through Jesup.
The passenger train.
That went through. So like the city of New Orleans.
Right.
It was this past Saturday. It was led by Dunkerton artist Elsie McIntosh. Elsie is the daughter of Sarah Powers and former Jesup student. She's now Sarah McIntosh and Lyle McIntosh. And what she did was she took a 2-by-3 foot piece of canvas, and she had 19 people paint paint a scene, paint a piece of art. You'll be able to find that on Facebook, on the Steve Brown Arts Center Facebook, if you get a chance. So it's wonderful. We're going to try to have it in the Jesup Library for a week, and here at Co-work 591 for a week, and show it in the area for a while, because a number of people from Jesup did it. So Saturday was the last Farmers Market, and so Olivia went all out. She had Kayla Andreessen had her students play the piano for the entire event, the 3 hours, and then the Steve Brown Arts Center sponsored the art, and then the vendors were there. So Olivia Fresh has done a wonderful job with that. It's done now until next spring. So Dale, did you watch the vice presidential debate last night?
Yeah, I watched most of it. I listened while I did something else, and then the last 45 minutes or so I watched it. So.
And your thoughts?
Well, it was, and there were times when they agreed on something and said that they agreed with the other person on what they were doing, and so that was good, that they found some commonality. And also, it wasn't a bunch of pie in the sky kind of things, or a bunch of rambling about this and a rambling about that.
Right.
Once in a while they were kind of stuck with answering a question, and so they delved into the script part of it. This is what our guy says, and so they're going to try to say the same thing. But for the most part, I thought it was fairly interesting, and neither one are super skilled debaters, but both of them know that it doesn't matter what the question is, you can answer whatever you want to, as far as you sometimes have a canned answer about something, and that's what they give, even though it doesn't exactly answer the question. Especially when they say, would you never say specifically. So, and I've heard other people comment on this, about how he misspoke about being in China at a certain time when the Tiananmen Square was going on, and that he was sometimes a knucklehead, which I'm sure will come up in commercials now for the Trump campaign. And when at the very end, Walz asked
J.D. Vance,
did Trump lose the election in 2020? And he danced all around that, and Walz said, "You're not answering that question is damning to you." In other words, he answered it by not answering it. And so that didn't make Vance look very good. But other than that, it was cordial, and you could watch it without holding your hand over your eyes going, terrible the way they talk. So it was much better to watch than the presidential debate, and where you had just two people who disagreed on several things talking about it. And sort of like the little conversation we had with the supervisor, where they were able, and you can, if you listen to that, you can hear there are differences in but they were cordial and friendly, and I think remain friends. So I don't know who won it, but I don't think either one lost it. I think they did enough good things to not change anybody's mind about anything.
So Dale, they figure in the 7 swing states, there are 200,000 voters that are going to make the difference. And so, do you think that debate had any effect on those 200,000 voters?
I doubt it, because most people don't look at the second spot on the ticket for anything, and a lot of people couldn't tell, what does the vice president do, what are his duties? And so I don't think it would have changed a lot of minds, or put somebody over the edge. It might have on 1 or 2 points, but I can't believe that most people haven't made up their mind yet, because there's such a stark difference between the personalities of the two contenders.
So I'll ask you again, who is going to, let's start with who's going to win the presidential election, Dale?
Yeah, we did this before. I think Harris is going to. I think that if you listen to her opponent, a lot of those things they just don't make any sense, and you can tell that he's lying and making things up, and his age is working against him, because every time he rambles a little bit now, people, okay, there he goes, he's and he's getting older every day. So I'm thinking that Harris is going to win. And for the same reasons that Biden won in 2020, is the fact that he and she both, they're not, a lot of people just don't like Trump, and they're a little bit afraid of him. And so I think common sense will prevail.
You do not see the signs out in the yards, although there's more and more, but you don't see the Trump signs that you saw even 4 years ago.
Yeah, you don't, and you don't. It just seemed like, it used to be you could sit down and talk with people, you're playing cards or you're just sitting in the living room talking with other people, and you could talk about politics without anybody getting mad. But now it's just like everybody wants to talk around and nobody wants to get into an argument about Trump or into an argument about Harris. They have their mind made up, but they're not trying to persuade anybody else. It's just people are just kind of holding it close
to the vest. You're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
That's what I think.
So right now, the numbers that I read, and I don't count, I don't believe in any polls anymore.
Yeah.
The polls when we were young teachers were spot on. Not anymore.
Yeah. People lie.
Yeah. And
they're tired of being polled, and they lie. They're tired of polls. They take too many of them.
And if you look at the polls in Georgia right now, Trump is winning by a percentage in Georgia. They claim that the governor of North Carolina, the trouble that he's in has cost Trump North Carolina. Trump called him Martin Luther King Jr. on steroids, and then the governor called himself a black Nazi.
Yeah.
He
called himself that on a site.
Yes.
He was communicating on a porn site, which doesn't help his cause at all.
No. Then you go up to Michigan. Harris is winning that. Pennsylvania, and everything I read says Trump is winning Pennsylvania. So that's three states. Harris is winning Arizona and
Wisconsin. How's Wisconsin going?
And Trump. They say Trump is winning Wisconsin.
Okay, I'm surprised by that.
I am surprised by that as well. But if you remember, not so long ago, the Democratic senators of Wisconsin had to run to Illinois to a hotel.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Wisconsin is pretty devout Republicans in the rural areas.
Yeah.
So Dale, I'll go against you and say Trump is going to win the presidency, and he's running maybe the worst campaign I've ever seen.
Yeah, it makes no sense to me. But
if you look at it, so then let's go to the Senate. Right now, the Senate is what, 51-49?
I guess I don't recall exactly, but it's real close like that. It's very close.
The Democrats control it right now.
Yeah, the Republicans control the House.
Yes. But you look at so it's 51-49, and here are the big races. And of course, if I lose the screen, just there it is.
Yeah.
So here's the top 10 races. So in West Virginia, what's his name? Joe Manchin is not running again. There's talk he's going to run for governor. He owns stock in the coal companies there. But that will go Republican. So now it's 50-50. Montana. There's a Democratic senator there named Tester, and he needs to win there, and it doesn't sound good for him right now. So now it's 51-49 Republican.
Right.
Then you go to Ohio. There's a Senator Sherrod Brown. He's very vulnerable. That's too close to call. So we'll stay at 51-49. In Michigan, Senator Debbie Stabenow is retiring, and it's an open seat, so that's too close to call. Right now, the Democratic nominee is in trouble there. A lady named Elisa Slack.
In trouble, like electorally wise, to be elected, or other problem?
She jumped to in hard Harris, and Michigan is pretty divided.
Okay.
And then in Arizona, Senator Kristen Sinema, they're replacing her. There's an open seat there. It's too close to call. But Arizona for a long time was strong Republican. A lot of older people go down there. And so, but we'll stay at 51-49. Jackie Rosen in Nevada is running for a second term. And incumbent Rosen may be in a better position than some Democrats elsewhere are running. So we'll go 50-50 again. So it could go to the president now. Pennsylvania, Senator Bob Casey. They believe that he's going to lose that.
What is he?
He's a Democrat. So now it's 51-49 again. You go to Wisconsin, Senator Tammy Baldwin has been hanging around Harris. She's facing a competitive re-election against Republican Eric Hovde, who has put in $13 million. The Republicans are putting huge amounts of money in that race, and they see that as winnable. But we're going to stay at 50-50. Texas, Ted Cruz is up. Cruz won't lose that. I mean, he did a lot of mistakes. He ran out of Texas and was going down to the Caribbean. But
well, he's the one in the debates in the 2016 election. And on the debate stage on national television, Trump said bad things about Cruz's father and also about Cruz's wife, and Cruz did not say a darn thing and ends up backing Trump. And so, to me, he's a spineless individual, and I don't understand why anybody would vote for him. But he's not my favorite.
They're saying the abortions issue will put him back in office.
Yeah.
And finally, so now that's 52-48.
If your counting is right. So.
Yeah. And then you go to Maryland, and there's a guy named Ben Cardin, a senator. He's retiring. It's too close to call there.
Yeah.
Either
so there's
way,
enough too close to calls that make it hard to say who's going to control the Senate.
But I do believe the Republicans are going to win by have
the majority.
The majority by 2 votes. But that's not very beneficial. The Democrats can attest to that right now.
Yeah. They're not getting the lowest number of bills passed by this Congress in history. They're just unable to do hardly anything.
Yeah. This is Steve Brown Arts Center Podcast Network. Dale, what do you have for Jesup News?
Well, with Jesup News, we're going to talk about the libraries. Got a new month of stuff going here. And the spice of the month is cloves.
Cloves.
Okay. Did you ever? I was thinking about cloves, whole cloves. I think it was in the school thing, or you could take an apple and take the whole cloves and just fill that apple, punch them in there, and hang it in your closet, and it would keep the moths away and have a nice aroma in your mother's closet. I remember making that for my mother for Christmas one year in school. And then I haven't seen it, but you used to see people, they'd take hams and they would fill them full of cloves before they baked them. They would punch all those cloves in there and bake the ham for that flavor. So that's an experience I've seen. And also, I think put ground cloves maybe in pumpkin pie a little bit. Not too much because it's dark, but and ground cloves and other desserts like that. But so that's why I had experience with cloves myself. So. The chapter chat is on October 21st, and the book is called A Woman of No Importance. You ever known one like that?
All women are important to me, Dale.
Okay. A Woman of No Importance by Sonia Purnell. It's the untold story of the American spy who helped win World War II. So it's a true story. And, as a woman, you could hide because people did not take them seriously. And so that would be a good time to be a woman and spy was during World War II. There's sort of the exercise group every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 o'clock. It's beginner-friendly strength, mobility, and balance workouts. And the Little Tot Story Time is still every Thursday at 10:30. Now the older kids are back in school. It'll be a good time to take the little ones for music stories and activities. A note, the library is closing at 4:30 on Monday, October 14th for staff development. I see they have a staff development day every month, I believe.
I believe so.
And so they're doing real well. Okay. Here's one I'm trying to get Gillespie to go to. It's the Stuffy Sleepover, October 15 and 16. You can bring your favorite stuffed animal to the JPL for a sleepover with other stuffy friends. And I have a grandson in the Scouts, and the last few years they have gone to the Omaha Zoo and stayed overnight in one of the exhibits there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like the butterfly house or the monkey house or something. And they always have a lot of fun doing that in Omaha. So you can sleep overnight in the library with your blankie and your favorite stuffed teddy bear. So
I have tough enough time sleeping in my own bed, Dale.
with the dog, right?
Yeah.
The dog get in bed. Painting with Susan. This is right up our alley on October 22nd at 1 o'clock. It's a Tuesday. And join us for a fun afternoon of painting with local artist Susan Kennicott at her studio, which is at 1350 6th Street in Jesup. So you go to her studio. And there's a cost there for materials, $25 per person. You can bring your own drinks and snacks to enjoy while painting. So you actually get to paint with an artist right there with you.
Right.
And at her studio. So that would be very interesting.
That would be.
Chalk the Walk is another art thing. It's October 7th from 1:30 to 3. You can draw positive messages in chalk outside the public library on the sidewalk, I'm assuming.
Yes.
So, and I have seen chalk art, which is fantastic. You know, it's just, this is drawing positive messages, so it's probably not paint or pictures so much as messages. So, a pumpkin painting contest. I said a pumpkin painting contest.
You said that right.
Okay. After October 14th, you can go to the library and get a pumpkin, take it home and paint it up to look like a favorite book character, and then return it to the library for a pumpkin painting contest.
Oh, I love that.
So it'll be sponsored by the Friends of the Jesup Public Library, so imagine there are prizes of some kind or another.
Yes.
So, and that'd be kind of fun to paint a pumpkin. You know, the texture there is kind of unique, and to make it look like a favorite book character. We thought for a minute there was an X-rated movie to be shown at the library, but there's a Monday movie, October 28th at 1 o'clock, and they have all X's here on the sheet that they gave out, so we're assuming they have not chosen a movie yet to show.
Yes.
Because it says runtime XX minutes, rated XX. Like, oh, okay, but I'm sure we will know very soon what the title of this movie is, and it will not be an XX movie. So, and the Books and Brews Book Club is still going on, and that is at the Allerton Brewing Company, Independence. And the book will be at the Jesup Public Library. It's called The Wedding Date by Jasmine Guillory. And that's on Monday, October 14th at 6:30 at the Allerton in Independence.
Okay.
The brewing. Okay.
All right.
We have some school news. Most of it is activities like on the 8th, which is tomorrow. The cross-country team will be running at Dyke at 4 o'clock. And then the volleyball conference tournament is also on the 8th, and it's at South Hardin High School. And I'm not sure which town that's in, but that's at 5 o'clock. It's a volleyball conference tournament. On the 11th, which is Friday, it'll be football against Iowa Falls Alden, and that's a home game. On the 15th, there's volleyball again at AGWSR. Can you name them?
Ackley, Geneva, Wellsburg, Steamboat Rock.
Right, and there are multiple schools there. It's another big tourney kind of thing.
Okay.
And that's on the 15th at AGWSR. I think they do most of their stuff in Shell Rock, or in Steamboat Rock, don't they? Or in Ackley. Yeah, Ackley. We'll just go a couple weeks here. The 17th cross-country conference tournament will be at Jesup, and that's at 3 o'clock in the afternoon out at the golf course.
Oh, so cool.
You've been to one of those? Those are fun to go to sometimes, to see all those kids take off and run and see how they stretch out. And you get over there, and there's a lot of competition. Usually at that finish line, people really put all out. So that is, and there's some excellent runners in our conference.
Mm-hmm.
I know Olwine, they have a really good team this year. The boys do, and Jesup's got some kids that can run, and there are kids in this conference that are state runner kind of capability. There's also a blood drive in the North Gym on the 17th. And last time I gave blood, and I was telling the blood lady, Mrs. Vogel, I thought I'd be retired from giving blood because I've been giving blood for a long time at my age. And she said, well, the younger people are not donating. So that's why you look at, there's a lot of older people, or guys older than me, guys in their 80s, still giving blood. And so giving blood is a very important thing to do. And very few people give blood, but there's always a need for blood. So if you feel like you want to help out that way, it's at the North Gym at the high school on October 17th. Starts at from 1:30 to 7:30. You can go. And I got the last time I gave blood, I don't know, several weeks later, I got a letter from the Red Cross telling me where my blood had been sent.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it had been used in a surgery for someone. Which
how interesting.
Yeah, that makes you feel pretty good. It doesn't. It just says it was sent to such and such a place and used in an operation.
Yeah.
To save a person's life. So that makes you feel pretty good about giving.
Yes.
So, and then 2 weeks, Friday the 18th, there's a football game. It's senior night at Jesup. It's Vincent Shellsburg coming town to play.
Okay.
So since it's senior, I'm assuming that's their last home game probably. And so, okay. And then we talked about this last week, and I think the week before, about this EMS election is the only city news. I have one thing on the corner of Young Street and 6th Street. They have put in a water fountain. It's a green, bright water fountain where you can take a drink out of the water fountain.
Oh,
You can fill water bottles there. Also, it's got a tall thing so you can get a water bottle underneath and fill the water bottle.
Okay.
So for people when they're walking or biking around town, can fill a water thing there. So kind of they poured some nice cement, and then they put this water fountain, and it's just like I don't know, it's different, but it's got the little green, it's green, and it's got like a stem with an opening in it where you can fill a water bottle, and it's got a little water fountain off to the side. And I think they had to move the fire hydrant to do that work. And so they had dug it, so they've planted some grass there, and they are watering the grass because I don't know if they're watering those flowers that they planted on South Street or not, but it's so dry. I hope they are because they're not going to make it if they haven't. So okay, there was a meeting presented by the EMS people at the library on October 1st, and this is about having a levy to benefit the EMS people in Buchanan County. And this started in 2021, where the legislature first said that you could have a levy for services. And then the Board of Supervisors in 2022 approved the EMS essential. They had to call EMS an essential service before they could have the levy. And so the Board of Supervisors said that EMS is an essential service. And then in 2023, they have an advisory council was made up to kind of run this thing, and then the levy then is on the ballot. Okay. They can go anywhere up to 75 cents for $1,000 evaluation. And I think the last time I looked, if your house is worth $100,000, you pay tax on like 53% of that. And so 53% at 75 cents is what they're asking for. It'd be like $39.75, about $40 it would cost you in addition to what you're paying now for Jesup, or for the county. They said that 12 counties have passed this levy, and 3 of them are around us, and one of them is Benton County. And they've asked anywhere from 32 cents up to 75. 75 cents is the maximum you can ask for, but you also can tack on a 1% income tax surtax. But the Buchanan County is not asking for that; they're asking for the 75%. And of this, they figure Fairbank would raise about $66,000, and Jesup would raise about $167,000. And this is to supplement what it's not in place of, it's to supplement what they're already getting in their regular budgets. And there are 3 ambulance services, Fairbank, and then the rest of the counties covered by this company that Independence hires. Independence, the other towns in that area hire. So
well, Dale, I always thought, and teach me, so I have health insurance. If I've got to call, God forbid, I got to call the ambulance to my house. Mm-hmm. My health insurance covers that ambulance coming to my house.
Yeah, and you'll get a bill. And say like you'll be in the Jesup area, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And so, say you call the ambulance and it takes you to Waterloo or wherever, and you get a bill for $500, and you pay it. Well, that your insurance pays it. Yeah. That money goes to the city council, to the city budget.
Yes.
Okay. And from what they say, the city is budgeting about $100,000 out of the general fund to the ambulance service. But the city takes in more than $100,000 from the bills they send out. So the ambulance is not really costing the Jesup taxpayers anything right now. What they are looking for is this extra $167,000 would be available for, they could save up money to buy a new ambulance in the future, to buy equipment, and also to pay stipends to the volunteers on call different hours of the day and this sort of thing. And so it'd be a way of taking some of the sting out of being a volunteer on the ambulance board. So that's, I think, to me, that was the main thing. And you can look at this lots of ways, and a lot of people think it's just it's a grab by the Independence area to pay, they're the countywide, help pay for their ambulance service, because the city there, it's the money for the ambulance service they have now is split between the hospital and the county and the city, as I understand it. And it's $500,000 a year they're paying for this company. And the company then provides the ambulances and the equipment, and they train their personnel and this sort of thing. So, but they've been using, is that some of them have been using, 2 of the entities, and I'm not sure which 2, have been using COVID money that the federal government passed out during the COVID crisis to pay for this, and that is running out next year.
So they don't count on volunteers like Jesup.
They're all paid.
Yeah.
And so this bill doesn't pass, or this levy doesn't pass. It needs to pass approval. If it doesn't pass, then Independence is going to have to come up with something, and they would be starting from scratch. I mean, they don't own any ambulances, they don't own any equipment. It's all with this company. And so I think it probably will pass because the majority of the people in Buchanan County would benefit by having this money come in. And I know our ambulance people want this bill to pass. They would like to have this extra money to spend on equipment and training. It could to be an EMT like $15,000 for the classes, and so it's an expensive proposition to have someone fully certified all the way through. They're called a paramedic. It's $15,000 per person to get the certification, and then they have to take continue ed all the time also at a certain cost.
People see that levy on their ballot, Dale. It's going to be a battle. I'd say 58% will say yes, it won't pass. Unfortunately.
You think 58%? You're that close? Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, there's no doubt. See, we sit in a unique town. You know, we have some incredibly giving people here, and you know we're all right financially. I worry for independence.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it turns out.
Yeah.
These levy votes, if you want them to pass, you're better off passing them on a non-presidential, like in two
Right.
years. See, but they don't have 2 years to wait. Because now the turnout is going to be huge.
It's going to be big. That's why.
Compared to what it is in 2 years. And so in 2 years, it's much easier to pass it because most people, even if they know it's going to cost them money, won't go and vote.
Right.
They don't. But in a presidential year, turned up at the polls. So I think it's a hard sell.
It's a hard
this
pass.
year.
Yeah. I agree with you, Dale. I agree.
People, the way things are they're going to have trouble voting to tax themselves even more.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what does happen.
You got anything else for us?
No, I think that was it. I have the library news, the city news, and the school news. So that's what I had. Yeah, I do. I'm sorry. I was going to do the 591 event calendar.
Yes,
coming
yes.
up. So on the 7th, Gibby's Food Truck is here from 11 to 4, and then on the 10th here at the 591 Co-work, they're having a free, and it's a QPR suicide prevention training at 6 o'clock. And they'd like you to RSVP, and so you could call Co-work 591 to do that. So that's this coming week, and then I'll just do 2 weeks. Boyd's Food Truck is here on the 15th, and they're a cash only, please. And then Dominic's Seafood, have they been here before? I don't know. I don't remember that name.
I don't remember them.
recall that name.
Dominic's Seafood.
Yeah.
Interesting. I love seafood.
So that's on Friday the 18th, and so might be something to look out for.
I had shrimp tacos today from the Fat Roy's Taco.
Well, I had the steak burrito.
You did?
Yes.
You did.
So, and something to look for on the 23rd at 591 Co-work, they're having a make and take trucker / baseball hat event. So I'm not just sure what that is. That's a 5 to 7. It's an open house kind of thing. You just walk in anytime between 5 and 7. And I don't know if you have to make one or if you have to decorate one, if they just give you one. I have no idea. But it's a trucker / baseball. So that's on the 23rd. So something coming up. So
We'll have to talk to Kelly if we're in that night or not to record.
Yeah. Okay. So that's coming up at 591 Co-work. They continue to be busy here.
Thank you, Dale.
You're welcome.
This is Co-work. We're at Co-work 591 Studios, beautiful downtown Jesup, as the Jesup High School Booster Club meets presently in one of the studios. We are in the main studio, and this is the Steve Brown Arts Center Podcast Network.
We got here first. That's why we got the main room.
We did. We did. We have a few other announcements. If you remember, Bubba Simmons, not to be confused with Richard Simmons, was here 2 or 3 weeks ago, and Bubba does a podcast called What Is Up, and Bubba, thanks to the help of Blake Tempus, our producer, started filming, going to the 4th level of the podcast and filming his, and he's on YouTube now. Also, Bubba showed our show that he was on that day. Okay. So which we want to thank Bubba for doing that, for helping us get more listeners.
That's right.
So thank you, Bubba. Today also, we took the artwork of Tim Kimmerer, our first artist in residence artwork down at M's Coffee in Independence, and we replaced it with Garrett Ficken's art.
Okay.
So, Dale, someday you and I need to get together over at M's Coffee for a hot chocolate and look at Garrett's art.
Okay.
Another event that is coming. We interviewed a school ambassador for Jesup Community Schools with more news to follow. They may spend some time on the air with Dale and I, as well as perhaps doing their own show.
Okay.
So
And who is that again?
Well, we're not. I'm not going to say yet till we for sure have them.
All right, that's very wise of you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And also, at the end of this show, Blake has played strategically former guest Mike Sorensen. Mike is the juggler that shoots, and also the
Shoots basketball.
he shoots basketball, but he collects autographs. Remember, he's over 30,000 autographs now. But Mike played 9 holes of golf, juggling golf balls and throwing. He just would go to the green at Fredericksburg Golf Course, and he would throw it over his shoulder.
The golf ball?
The golf ball. And it took him 3.5 hours to do 9 holes. So which is really good, actually.
I suppose, yeah. So I'm sorry. He started at the tee and
no. He would go to the green of the hole
and throw it on the green
and juggle the 3 golf balls
and throw one.
Throw one for the hole.
And so he kept doing that until he got one in.
Kept doing it until it went in.
Oh, that would be hard.
Yes, it would be.
Yes.
Yeah. Watch the video, Dale.
I will have to do that.
End. That's Mike Sorensen. Let's talk about this. Top 5 names dealing with weather.
Names of people, right?
Names of people.
Okay, here's the very best one you've ever heard.
All right.
This girl was an act. She starred in My Little Margie. You know what her name was? Gail Storm.
Gail Storm. Oh, very good.
I think that's
very good. That's
unbeatable.
Number 1. Oh, wow. That is going to be a challenge.
And I don't know what her real name was, but that was what she acted under was Gail Storm.
Gail Storm.
She was on radio, I know, in My Little Margie, and then it turned into a TV show in the 50s. And she was in movies also and that sort of thing. But I think she's probably best known for the TV show.
Okay. Do you have any others?
Well, I have to think now, though. But,
all right.
You have one?
I have a few.
Okay.
Obviously,
Carl Weathers.
Carl Weathers.
That just died a little while ago.
Very good.
Okay.
Very good. I would say Gale Sayers.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, there was a boxer called Hurricane. You remember it?
Yeah.
Hurricane something. Fill in. I'm the
Ray, famous Jesup celebrity Ray, as in Sun Ray.
Oh, I see.
Ray.
Yeah. Okay. I think you're stretching with that one.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Guthrie, Woody Guthrie. We were talking about him earlier.
Okay. Well, how about Chill Wills, the actor?
Oh, good.
Chill, because chill's a weather term, I think, kind of.
What about Chili Davis?
Yeah. Well, that's more.
The baseball player.
Okay.
What about Neil Armstrong?
I don't get that one.
Neil. Now, Neil stands for, let me look here.
You had that one?
A Gaelic origin, Angelus of the Irish name Neil. In Irish, it means cloud.
Cloudy.
Cloud.
Okay.
Neil.
Okay. Getting anything.
All right. Well, that's pretty good. We did pretty well.
Yeah.
All right. Not bad. Not bad. All right. So Dale, I have a happy news for you speeders out there. Happy news. You can thank Governor Reynolds for this. She pushed this. The Republican Party pushed for this in Iowa. No longer do the towns of Independence, Buffalo, Charles City, Chester, Fayette, Fredericksburg, Hazleton, LaPorte City, and Lee County have their speed cameras in effect. It went in effect yesterday, October 1st, in those towns. The Iowa Department of Transportation turned down applications for most of the state's stationary ticket cameras, including all 23 Waterloo cameras, as part of the recent legislative overhaul. The cameras stopped ticketing on Monday night. Other local governments that are no longer allowed to operate automated traffic enforcement systems mentioned earlier. So that's good news for me, Dale.
It is, yeah. Well, I have, my family has $175 wrapped up in those camera tickets.
Yeah.
So last year, we're good this year, but last year, they add up in a hurry. They don't mess around with $20 fines. So.
I had a good friend that his wife borrowed his truck and went and saw his daughter down in Iowa City, and she went through Cedar Rapids. Those cameras. Driving his pickup truck, and his pickup truck is registered in his name.
Sure.
And he got a speeding ticket.
Yep. That happened to me too.
Yeah. And your wife was driving?
Yeah, that was the $100 one.
Dub, I know you were speeding for good reasons, I'm sure. So $175.
Yeah, $100 for one. Then you get another one in Old Wine for $75.
Oh God!
Within a month or so, and so
yeah,
you hate getting that little letter in the mail.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna pay this, but then you end up paying it just to do the right thing, I guess. But I like cameras like at intersections, people running red lights. Somebody ought to know they're running red lights and this sort of thing. And so, the speeding was kind of hard. The biggest complaint I think was that somebody else is driving your car, and I was reading the law. I said if you can contest these tickets. If you can say, okay, I wasn't my car at that time, and they say, okay, you have to tell them who was driving it, name, address, and that person also has to submit saying, yes, I was driving it. So then they can send the ticket to that person. So
the first ticket I ever received for something like that, I was in Austin, Texas, next to the University of Texas in Austin for Christmas. And uniquely, there were no one on the streets. It was Christmas. No one out. I came to a stoplight, long stoplight. Waited, and you know when you're at a stoplight, how you start watching the other stoplight. I started watching the other stoplight. It changed, and they had a picture of me. And it changed. I took off. Well, the light was still red. They had a picture of me looking at the other stoplight as I was taking off. Got that in the mail. Now, I really believe, Dale, that it saves many arguments for the local constable. I don't think it makes life for the police department easier by making them stop people.
Now, and I think it takes a lot of courage to go up to a car in the nighttime that you stopped for something these days, because man, it's dangerous. It was kind of related, but I was in the Buttermilk Monday morning, and during the course of the breakfast, there were 7 highway patrolmen came in, and they sat around one big table to have breakfast. And one of the old guys in the cabin, well, he says, anybody wants to get to Waterloo in a hurry, now'd be a good time to go. None of those patrolmen cracked a smile. So
yes, I'm sure they did. I bet they didn't.
But I thought it was hilarious. So
oh, yep. This is Steve Brown Arts Center Podcast Network, and we are coming to you from beautiful downtown Jesup. Trying to look here what we have left. I see that they ruled on that they're not going to put a roundabout out at the Dunkerton corner, Dale.
They did rule that.
Well,
They have other places.
They did the study. They did the study for that. Looked at the study for that corner, and it does not mandate a roundabout. Does not mandate a four corner stop. Tragically.
I don't understand that.
Dale, I've tell you, and I'm born in '61. I've got a little child of the '60s in me. I've thought of getting the students of Dunkerton and Don Bosco and LaPorte City and Jesup and closing that corner down. You know, there's enough kids that
Yeah,
lost
you are
friends
from the 60s,
there.
aren't you? Yeah, so.
I am.
Yeah.
There's enough kids that lost friends and understand that it saved life that would do that.
Yeah. No, ever since a man from Jesup died at that corner, and when I towards that corner, if there are cars coming from either way, I slow down a little bit and I watch very carefully.
Yeah,
make
I do
because
too.
I don't trust them anymore. Because you would think there's no way they can miss it, but people do.
Yeah,
They go right
do.
through there. So.
They do. It is. No, I've really debated doing that, and who knows? Maybe I can get 4 people, let alone to do that. But close that down enough times, and they'll realize how important life is.
Well, Blake and I will bail you out every time.
Dale, do you have anything else for us?
No, I'm pretty good. I'm really upset that the Republicans are trying to take margarine out of our state.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
really.
They want to make this a butter world. So, that's the only one I got this week. So.
Oh my! Well, don't forget, our 100th show is coming up. We will be live October 30th. Make Blake's life extra hard that night, and we have several guests that night that are coming in. The 23rd, we have a special musical guest, I believe. Chet, if you're listening, we're planning on you, man. And don't forget then the 1st, the Littleton Chatham Historical Society is having a chili supper, and we are showing. That will be the last show of artist in residence Tim Kimmer that night. And then
I didn't bring my paper. What night is that?
That is Friday, November 1st.
November 1st, okay.
Yeah, Friday, November 1st. Yeah. So that's the day I'm buying Blake and Dale and Deb chili supper. The only problem with that, but we'll have to eat early because the local play is that night at Jesup.
Oh, okay.
So we'll have to go early.
Yeah, Friday. They have it usually Saturday night too.
Yeah, they have Friday and Saturday.
Yeah. Might be the last play in the old gym.
It might be.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right.
Well, I suppose the spring one would be the last one, but be the last fall play in that old gym on the stage.
They claim that they will have the auditorium open by next fall.
Yeah.
Get your bets down. No attack, Mr. Larson, as you do that, but but I understand that things cause problems. If you'd like to donate to the Steve Brown Arts Center or have an idea for an event, go to the SteveBrownArtsCenter.org and follow the link. If you have news or would like to sponsor us, email us at jim@SteveBrownArtsCenter.org or call 319-290-0241 and leave a message. Don't forget, Blake's getting a video ready for you as we speak. I'm Jim Gillespie with Dale Rueber and producer Blake Tempus. As always, we got to thank Kelly C. Haas for allowing this wonderful studio. Thanks to the audience for bringing these stray dogs into your day, and remember that each day is about little victories.
Here we go. Why not? That's in. We'll take that one. We'll take it. We will flat take that one. Couple halves, right in the hole. Why not? We'll count it right there. Yep. Slow and steady, but it did go in. Why not? Dropped it. But of course it goes in. Little bobble there. Made it in. Why not? Yes. All the way. And why wouldn't it be? That was the longest shot of the day. Why not? It's gonna keep rolling. It's gonna flat keep rolling. It's gonna be in. Oh, that was slow. But this hole was probably the slowest I've actually gone through. This took me forever, it seemed. All kinds of problems with gravity, and the ball didn't want to go where it wanted to go. I wanted it to go. Finally, it went in. Why not? Why wouldn't it? Why wouldn't it go in? From the dark to the light. Why not? Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That only took me 8 tries. Why not? That felt pretty good. We'll say really good. All right, that gives me 9 shots, 9 holes. Why not?